They said it was impossible. They said no one would ever dare to cross El Mencho, the ruthless cartel boss whose shadow stretches from Mexico's jungles to America's streets. But shocking new reports claim something unimaginable may have unfolded. A brutal act of revenge caught on camera, allegedly carried out by U.S. soldiers themselves. The whispers started online. Grainy clips passed from one phone to another, each frame fueling a storm of speculation. Was this really the moment when America struck back? Or just another cartel scare tactic designed to send chills across the border? In the footage, dark figures moved through smoke and gunfire, their uniforms half hidden, their intent unmistakable. Voices cry out, some in fear, others in fury. And at the center of it all, the name that silences entire towns: El Mencho. The rumor is simple yet explosive, that after years of bloodshed, betrayal, and unspeakable attacks on American agents, the soldiers finally took matters into their own hands. Fans of cartel dramas call it the payback nobody saw coming. Families left behind by the violence say it's justice long overdue. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: the world is watching, and the tension is unbearable. The whispers didn't come from newspapers or official bulletins. They came from the corners of the internet where conspiracy collides with breaking news, where shaky footage sparks debates that can spiral into legend overnight. That's where this story first caught fire. The shocking suggestion that a group of U.S. soldiers may have staged a brutal revenge mission against none other than El Mencho himself. The feared cartel kingpin dotted first. It sounded like another late-night fantasy, the kind of story you hear in a crowded bar when someone wants to impress strangers. But then the video appeared. 30 seconds of chaos, grainy enough to raise doubts, vivid enough to ignite belief. Figures in combat gear storm through what looks like a rural compound. Shots ring out. A voice, muffled but urgent, yells in English, "Move, move, move!" Another voice, deeper, screams in Spanish, "Protect the boss." And then, as the screen shakes, there's one word that freezes the blood of everyone watching: Mencho. That was all it took. Social feeds exploded. Fans of cartel lore replayed the clip 1,000 times, zooming into shadows, analyzing boots, debating whether the patches on uniforms were authentic. "This is it," one commenter insisted. "The day America finally sent a message." Others pushed back, calling it stage theater, maybe even propaganda planted by rival cartels. But the speculation only made the story hotter. Families who had lost loved ones to cartel violence watched the clip with tears in their eyes. "If this is real," said one grieving sister in a shaky interview uploaded to YouTube, "then maybe justice really does exist." On the other hand, officials stayed silent, refusing to confirm or deny. That silence was louder than any denial could have been. People began to ask, if it wasn't true, wouldn't the government shut the rumor down immediately? The emotional storm deepened when supposed insiders stepped forward. An anonymous voice message circulated in WhatsApp groups, claiming to be from a soldier who had seen the mission from the inside. In the recording, the speaker's voice trembles. "We weren't supposed to talk about it. They told us to forget everything, but I can't sleep. I still hear his men screaming when we breached the compound." They knew their time was up. Whether it was authentic or a hoax didn't matter. The impact was the same. Audiences were hooked, desperate for details, unable to look away. That's when the contradictions began to surface. Some allege that the footage was taken in Jalisco, deep in El Mencho's territory. Others claim it was filmed across the border during a secret handover. A few even argued it was old military training footage spliced with fake audio. But the frenzy didn't die. It grew. For fans of cartel dramas, the uncertainty was half the thrill. Every new theory added fuel to the fire. And in the middle of this storm sat the legend of El Mencho, a man whose very name carries fear. Known for brutal tactics, whispered about as untouchable, he had become almost mythical, the villain nobody could topple. If these reports were even partly true, if soldiers had dared to go after him and record the aftermath, then history had been made in the shadows. What really turned the rumor into a full-blown obsession, though, were the personal stories that began to surface. A young widow claimed her husband, once a low-level driver for the cartel, had warned her weeks earlier. "They're coming for the boss. The Americans are angry this time." Another voice memo, this time from someone claiming to be a cousin of a captured cartel gunman, described frantic phone calls on the night of the supposed raid. He said the soldiers were like ghosts. They came out of nowhere. No mercy. People wanted to believe it. They wanted to believe that after decades of blood and corruption, there was a moment of raw payback, that the grief of families, the betrayal of communities, the fury of nations had boiled over into one decisive act. Yet with every wave of emotion came new questions. If U.S. soldiers truly carried out revenge, why risk being caught on camera? Was it arrogance, proof of power, or maybe a warning, a message to the rest of the cartel world? Fans speculated endlessly. Some said the clip was leaked by soldiers who wanted credit. Others swore it was leaked by the cartel itself, trying to stoke fear of unstoppable enemies lurking in the night. The drama took another turn when commentators on late-night podcasts weighed in. One host leaned into the microphone and whispered, "You don't understand. This isn't just about a video. This is about what happens when governments get tired of playing by the rules." Another countered with suspicion, warning that people were being manipulated, that believing the story might play into a larger narrative designed to scare or distract. The arguments became entertainment themselves. Fans chose sides, quoting their favorite podcasters like battle slogans. Meanwhile, in towns near the Mexican border, tension was palpable. Mothers clutched their children tighter. Fathers avoided. Late-night shifts, neighbors locked their doors earlier than usual. Fear didn't care whether the video was real or fake. Fear fed on the possibility that the unthinkable had happened. And for families with ties to cartel victims, the rumor became a strange mix of comfort and dread. "If they really did this," said one uncle of a slain victim, "then maybe they'll do more. But if it's only a story, then our pain is just being used for entertainment." That paradox, the hope for justice mixed with the suspicion of spectacle, is what kept the narrative alive. And that's exactly why this tale of revenge, caught in fragments and shadows, became bigger than any official statement could ever be. As one viral tweet put it bluntly, maybe the truth doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that the world now thinks El Mencho can bleed. The video might have been short, but the ripple effects were endless. Every second of the grainy clip was dissected frame by frame. On TikTok, self-styled crime analysts slowed it down to 0.25 speed, circling shapes in the background, adding captions like, "Is that El Mencho's compound wall?" Or "Look closely, those are American helmets." Fans devoured the content, sharing theories as if they were spoilers for the latest crime drama. But what made this story different wasn't just the footage, it was the emotion behind it. Families who had suffered under cartel violence felt an unfamiliar sensation: vindication. "For years we buried our sons and daughters," cried one woman in a shaky live stream, "and nobody came to help us. If these soldiers really struck back, then maybe our voices were finally heard." Her words cracked as she spoke, and comments poured in. "Stay strong, Mama. Justice is coming. They can't hide forever." Yet for every tear of relief, there was a spark of fear. Journalists whispered that if the revenge story was true, then the retaliation would be brutal. Cartels don't forgive. They don't forget. One headline blared across Spanish tabloids: "If El Mencho bleeds, entire cities will pay." That headline alone launched a new wave of speculation. Was this supposed revenge just the beginning of an even darker chapter? Fans of the story leaned in, craving each twist. They wanted drama. And they got it. Because soon after, another leak appeared. This time, it wasn't video. It was an alleged conversation between cartel lieutenants, secretly recorded and uploaded anonymously. The voices were tense, angry. They crossed the line. Who gave the order? Was it the Americans? Doesn't matter. The boss is furious. He wants blood. The clip went viral overnight. Skeptics dismissed it as fabricated audio, but the damage was done. Suddenly, audiences weren't just talking about revenge. They were talking about escalation. Could this rumor ignite a firestorm between cartels and soldiers, spilling beyond Mexico's borders? The narrative took a soap opera turn when supposed family drama entered the stage. A young man claiming to be El Mencho's distant relative gave an interview from hiding. His face blurred, his voice altered. He confessed, "I heard my uncle screaming on the phone that night." He said they were betrayed, that someone inside let the soldiers in. That single word, betrayal, became the buzzword of the week. Betrayal sells. Betrayal makes headlines. And betrayal in a cartel family? That was dynamite. Social media latched onto it instantly. El Mencho betrayed by his own blood? Tweeted one account with 200K followers. Fans are shocked. If true, this changes everything. Hashtags erupted. Hashtag cartel betrayal trended in Mexico and parts of the US. Meanwhile, political commentators joined the fray, making it sound like a global conspiracy. If American soldiers acted without permission, one pundit declared on live TV, then this isn't just revenge. It's a declaration. And if El Mencho's empire truly wobbles, other powers will move in. Words like covert war, shadow conflict, and hidden battlefield dominated talk shows. And then came the personal stories again, the glue that made this rumor feel real to ordinary people. One man claimed his brother, a soldier stationed overseas, had called home in tears. He didn't say much, just that he saw things that night he'd never forget. That's all he said before hanging up. He was crying. Whether fact or fiction, audiences ate it up. The tension mounted when fan accounts began role-playing the drama. YouTube channels staged reenactments, complete with actors in military uniforms and fake gunfire. The night soldiers stormed Mencho's stronghold. One title read. These dramatizations blurred lines even further. Some viewers mistook them for real evidence. Others accused creators of exploiting tragedy. But no matter the argument, everyone was talking. And what about El Mencho himself? The silence from his camp was deafening. No statements, no videos, no narcomantas across bridges declaring retaliation. Nothing. That absence was its own kind of drama. Fans speculated endlessly. Was he hiding, wounded, or worse? Into that silence, another rumor slithered. An anonymous blog post claimed El Mencho's inner circle was fracturing, that lieutenants were blaming each other for the breach. He trusted the wrong men, the post said. Now his empire is collapsing. Again, unverifiable. Again, irresistible. Reactions piled up across communities. Families of cartel victims prayed it was true. Rival groups laughed and mocked, posting memes of El Mencho with captions like, "Untouchable? Not anymore." Even celebrities joined the noise. One Latin pop star tweeted cryptically, "Justice has many faces," followed by 3 fire emojis. Fans connected the dots instantly, insisting the singer was hinting at the revenge clip. And in living rooms everywhere, families debated it like a soap opera cliffhanger. Fathers shaking their heads, mothers whispering fears, teenagers glued to their phones saying, "Mom, it's trending everywhere. You don't get it. This is real." The drama seeped into every corner. But while audiences were entertained, the stakes in Mexico remained painfully real. In small towns near Jalisco, people reported unusual military movement. Trucks rumbling in the night. Helicopters hovering. Low. Was it related? Nobody knew. But every sound became suspicious. Every shadow felt threatening. The most chilling twist came when another short video surfaced. A single blurred frame of what looked like a blood-stained wall. The uploader claimed it was from inside Mencho's compound, evidence of the raid. No way to verify, but enough to reignite the fire. Comment sections lit up. This is it, the smoking gun. Fake?